comes the most awaited movie in the MCU, Deadpool and Wolverine. While many of us thought this could be a prequel to Deadpool 2 and might be called Deadpool 3, the MCU has instead connected all the dots from the X-Men and Deadpool films to present us with the best brutal saga of Deadpool and Wolverine. If you haven't watched the movies listed here, you might be completely lost while watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and especially if you haven't seen this particular X-Men movie, then this new film might not make much sense to you. So let's begin.
I've been at the mercy of men just following orders. Never again.
The first movie to watch is X-Men First Class. This film marks the beginning of a new chapter in the X-Men saga, rewinding the timeline to the earliest point in the franchise. It starts in 1944 at the Auschwitz concentration camp and then jumps ahead to 1962. The story follows a young Charles Xavier and Eric Laneshair, also known as Magneto, and explores the origins of both the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants. This movie essentially kickstarts the X-Men story. The second movie to watch is X-Men: Days of Future Past. This film can be a bit tricky to place on the timeline as it features characters from both the original X-Men films and the newer ones.
Fuck off.
Listen to me, you little shit. I've come a long way, and I've watched a lot of people die, good people and friends.
Much of the story takes place in 1973, but significant portions occur in an alternate version of 2023. There are certain story elements that we won't spoil here, which justify its placement at this point in the timeline. However, an appreciation for the original cast can enhance the viewing experience, making it a special movie for fans. As a result, this film can also fit well near the end of this list, depending on your preference. The third movie to watch is X-Men: Apocalypse, which takes place in a different timeline with a distinct story. This movie sets the stage for the next film on our list.
Everything they built will fall!
Apocalypse stars Oscar Isaac as En Sabah Nur, also known as Apocalypse, and features the rebooted X-Men team. Although the film begins in 3600 BC, the majority of the story is set in 1983. The fourth movie to watch is X-Men Dark Phoenix. This is the final film featuring the X-Men team led by James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender.
Are you threatening me?
That's right.
That would be a bad idea.
It tells the story of Sophie Turner's Jean Grey transforming into the powerful Phoenix, a plot hinted at in the previous movie. The film begins in 1975, but is primarily set in 1992. The fifth movie to watch is X-Men. The transition from Dark Phoenix to X-Men isn't as seamless as the transition from Rogue One to A New Hope, but the first X-Men live-action film fits next in the timeline, as it takes place in the early 2000s. While James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender portrayed the younger versions of Charles Xavier and Eric Laneshair, Magneto, in the previous films, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen take on the roles of their older counterparts in this film.
Who am I? You are just a failed experiment.
The sixth movie to watch is X2 X-Men United. Taking place not long after the events of the original X-Men film, X2 continues the story with a brainwashed Nightcrawler attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. The film concludes with significant events that set up the next movie and tease the arrival of this trilogy's version of Phoenix. The seventh movie to watch is X-Men: The Last Stand.
You would die for them.
No, not for them. For you.
While this film was the first live-action adaptation to tell the Phoenix story within the series' internal chronology, it is the second. In this movie, we see Famke Janssen's Jean Grey resurrected as the dangerously powerful Phoenix, leading to a showdown with the X-Men in the final film of the original trilogy. The eighth movie to watch is X-Men Origins: Wolverine, which serves as a crucial link between Deadpool and the X-Men. This first X-Men spin-off movie begins back in 1845, but mainly takes place in 1979. It explores the origin story of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, showing how he acquires his iconic adamantium claws. Additionally, it features the first introduction of Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, Deadpool. This film is an essential part of the Wolverine timeline. The ninth movie to watch is The Wolverine. This film serves as a sequel of sorts to both X-Men Origins: Wolverine and X-Men: The Last Stand.
It's too late.
No!
You can't hide.
It takes place shortly after the events of the latter film and deals with the fallout from those events. The Wolverine also introduces the character Yukio, who later appears in Deadpool 2. The 10th movie to watch is Logan. Set in 2029, this film follows Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier in a world where mutants are nearly extinct.
Not okay!
As the story that takes place farthest ahead in the timeline, Logan serves as a fitting conclusion to the X-Men saga. It's an excellent film to end with on the X-Men timeline. The 11th movie to watch is Deadpool. While Ryan Reynolds' Wade Wilson, Deadpool, first appeared in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he makes his solo feature film debut in 2016's Deadpool.
You may be wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
This film is mostly separate from the events of the main X-Men movies, but it exists in the same universe, providing a more complete picture of the franchise. Although Deadpool doesn't have a specific timeline setting, it appears to take place around the time it was released, which is 2016. The 12th movie to watch is Deadpool 2. Like the original, Deadpool 2 doesn't have an exact timeline, and its events mostly occur independently of the main X-Men franchise. However, this sequel features some returning younger X-Men characters and includes a spoilery reference to Logan, suggesting it might be set in the late 2020s.
We will be known as X-Force.
Isn't that a little derivative?
You're absolutely right.
As expected, Deadpool 2 is full of humor, with the character breaking the fourth wall frequently. Notably, in the post-credit scene, Deadpool humorously revisits and changes the fight with Wolverine from X-Men Origins Wolverine, which leads into the next movie. Finally, the last movie to watch is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Are you ready? Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm the Wolverine.
With all the knowledge from the previous movies, you're now ready to dive into this film. However, be prepared for surprises, as this movie is not what you might expect. Due to Deadpool's meddling with the timeline, he is brought in by the TVA, Time Variance Authority, and encounters Wolverine, albeit from a different timeline. Well, that's all I can tell you about Deadpool and Wolverine. Make sure to prepare yourself by watching the 12 movies mentioned before diving into this new saga. Enjoy the experience and happy watching. See you next time.